Hi, I'm Carol Peugeot from Innovate Training, and this is From the Classroom to the Kitchen Nook. This is session 4. As we talked about last session, this is about expectations. This is part 2 of those expectations. Last time we talked about students' expectations and what they can expect from their instructor. Today we're going to talk about what your instructor should be able to expect from you, the student. Okay? So, what an instructor expects from you. Whether you're online or whether you're in a classroom, this is going to be pretty much the same. There's going to be a few differences, but pretty much the same, especially when we get into things like engagement. So, before we get started, I want to, quick reminder to like, subscribe, and click that bell so that you get plenty of notifications for all of our wonderful videos that you're going to learn a lot of good information from. Okay? So make sure you do that. Your instructor has a great responsibility. Teaching a class or classes is a great responsibility on his or her part. However, they cannot just open your head and pour in the knowledge. Learning is an active verb. It's something that you have to do. Something you have to take action and make an effort. You're going to be responsible to do your part, whether it's studying, coming to class, preparing for a test, showing up for a test, and class and lecture. And, of course, doing your homework. So what does your instructor expect from you? Well, the first thing I want to mention is engagement. Engagement is very important. Now, attending class is great, but you have to do more than just attend or attend your Zoom meeting. You have to do more than that. You have to be engaged in it. So what does engagement mean? It means taking part in a discussion, answering questions, asking questions, and making comments. Now, being respectful, not walking all over everybody as they're trying to talk to, but don't be a person just sitting back and just listening, because your instructor is expecting you to take part in that discussion. Okay? It also means if you're in a classroom, to be raising your hand, to be answering questions, asking questions, and making comments. If you have a discussion board, especially if it's an online, your instructor is going to expect you to be active on that discussion board. Not only making your initial post, but commenting on other students' postings as well. And not just, hey, great post. Making a valid comment, whether you're challenging respectfully or whether you're adding more information. Okay? So being active, asking questions, raising your hand, answering questions, making comments, and being active in those discussion boards. Okay. Emails. Your instructor is going to expect you to check your emails on a daily basis. He or she may email you for various reasons, maybe some updates, maybe they found some information that's important for you. So check your email on a daily basis and make sure you're emailing your instructor. If they ask you a question, make sure you're emailing your instructor within 24 hours. Okay? Again, unless it's Friday afternoon, make sure you get that answer to them by Monday morning. Okay? So just as you would expect them to answer your emails, you want to be show that same respect. Okay. Your instructor is going to expect you to do your homework and take your test yourself, especially if you're online, because they can't proctor the test necessarily. There are ways, but they can't necessarily proctor the test if you are online. So it's up to your honor to take the test yourself. And again, if somebody else is taking the test for you, what good is it? The testing is not just to get a grade. It's to make sure to assess to see if you are understanding the material. So make sure you're taking your own test and doing your own homework assignments. Okay. The one thing that just really bothered me if I caught students doing it was in the homework. I'd have my students look up terminology words, and they had to type them out with definition. Well, I would catch them sometimes, one person typing out the words and the definitions and then printing them up and giving them to everybody else. Well, no. Everybody should be doing their own work, unless it's a group assignment. Then that's, it's a whole other thing. But everybody should be doing their own work. Your instructor is going to expect you to do any reading assignments. If he or she has assigned 2 or 3 chapters to read by Tuesday, then make sure that you get on a schedule and read those chapters. You don't want to show up to class or show up to your meeting unprepared when the teacher is probably going to discuss those chapters. So they expect you to have read those reading assignments. They're there for a reason. It's not just there to keep you busy or to fill out the syllabus. It's there for a reason. And it's there to prepare you for an engaging conversation or lecture. If you have a hard time completing your assignment by due date, make sure that you let your instructor know as soon as you know that there's a problem. So for instance, it's the middle of the week, you know the homework is due in 2 or 3 days, and you're not even halfway done, you know there's probably going to be a problem. You're probably not going to be able to get it done. So email your instructor, let them know that you're running a little bit behind, and let them know. Remember, your instructor is a valuable resource, and there might be some things or something he or she can give you or suggest to you that would help you. So make sure you are communicating with your instructor. Do not just not turn in an assignment. Don't let it be due date and just not turn it in and not communicate, because that's something, what I would do, I would contact that student. Hey, I don't see your report here. What's going on? And then I'd say, oh, I wasn't able to get it done. Well, I said, well, I've been here all week. Why haven't you communicated this to me? Okay, so be sure you communicate. This could also affect your participation grade if you have that type of grade, because participation is also participating with the class and engaging with your instructor and communicating. Your instructor is going to expect you to bring all your materials. Your reading textbook, whatever, any packets that he or she has given you, don't come to class without them, because it's very frustrating when your instructor has to stop everything and print up a packet for you because you didn't bring it with you. Your instructor most likely will provide everything either online or at the beginning first class as a packet. So make sure you bring those and prepare and have those with you. Textbooks, pencils, pens, calculators, whatever it is that you need, make sure you come with it. If you're a medical student and you're going to do blood pressures that day, make sure you bring your stethoscope, because your stethoscope is yours and you don't want to be interchanging stethoscopes with other students, because that's not sanitary. So your instructor is going to expect you to have all your materials. Your instructor, I kind of touched on this before, your instructor is going to expect you to study for your test and not study 5 minutes before. Study throughout the week, preparing and making sure that you are prepared with the material, you're familiar with the material. If you have questions regarding the test, how many questions there are, is it open book, how many points is it, what type of questions is it, 5 minutes before the test is not the time to ask those questions. Make sure you've asked those questions a day or two before. Hey, can you tell me how many questions there are, or how much does this test weigh as far as my grade? Is it open book? Let them know, or ask those questions beforehand. Okay. Usually tests are scheduled, unless it's a pop quiz. So if it's a schedule, then you should pretty much know on the calendar when that test is coming. Okay. Manage your time. Your instructor is going to expect you to manage your time. Set aside the class time for class, whether it's online or whether it's in the classroom. If work schedule interferes, then you might want to think about taking a different time slot. If it's a daytime class and you're having to work, maybe go to a night class. Or if it's a classroom model, maybe you could take an online class, especially if you have childcare problems or issues. All those things should be settled before you start class. When you're in the admissions process, you should have settled all those issues. And I know things pop up, and I know babysitters quit, and I know work changes your schedule. I understand that. But you want to avoid those unnecessary changes if it's possible. If you can let your boss know, hey, I'm going to school, I won't be available from 12 to 1, Monday through Thursday, then most likely your boss won't schedule you during those hours. Okay? So respect your instructor's time as well. If you set up a time 15 minutes before class and you say, hey, I'll meet you there and we'll go, so you can go over this with me, and you don't show up, that's frustrating because your instructor hurries to get there to make sure that he or she is there available for you, and you don't show up and you don't call. And yeah, that's. Speaking of time management, the SOAR program, which stands for the Seminar of Academic Readiness, includes a time management lesson, and it goes over extensively some techniques that would help you with time management, as well as many other related topics. So the SOAR program is available right now at the introductory price, so you want to make sure you check that out because it's something that could really be beneficial for you. Okay, so join me next time as we will discuss the pros and pitfalls of for-profit schools. So this is going to be kind of a gloves-off look at for-profit schools. I spent 17 years in the industry, so I know some of the good things and some of the bad things that go on in those schools, and I want to make sure you, the student, are well aware of them. So, see you next time, and bye.